There is this really quiet mystery that happens in so many families.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Right. And it usually starts in the evening. Like the day is winding down, you are visiting your parents, or maybe you're just sitting in your own living room.
Just resting after a long day.
Exactly. And the shoes come off just a little bit earlier than they used to.
You just want them off your feet right away.
Yes. And there it is, a deep red line pressed right into the skin.
Just from a simple cotton sock.
Yeah. Or maybe it is the wedding ring. The same ring that slid on so easily over morning coffee.
And suddenly it feels entirely stuck by dinner time.
Right. You might even notice an extra heavy kind of tiredness when climbing the stairs to bed. And the most common response, the thing we all just quietly tell ourselves in the mirror, is, well, I am just getting older.
We really do just brush it off.
We do. It becomes this silent burden we carry, thinking it's just the price of a long life.
It is a very lonely feeling, honestly. You look down at those deep lines on your skin, you feel that dull weight in your calves, and you assume your body is just wearing down.
And you do not want to complain.
No, never. You certainly do not want to worry your family. But what we miss when we brush it off as normal aging is that our bodies are actually trying to speak to us.
Like a quiet warning sign.
More like a whisper. That tight ring, that heavy foot, it is a whisper from inside. It is a request for a little bit of support. And when we ignore the whisper for too
The
long,
body eventually has to shout.
exactly, it has to shout to get our attention.
And that is exactly the tension so many adult children feel. You see your dad resting his feet, you notice the puffiness, and you worry.
Of course you do. It comes from a place of deep love.
Right, but you do not want to nag him about seeing a doctor for every little thing. And on the flip side, the parent feels that heavy stiffness, but stays quiet.
Because they want to keep their freedom. They do not want to be seen as frail.
That makes so much sense. So our mission for this deep dive into our shared wellness notes is to decode exactly what those feet and ankles are trying to tell us after age 60.
And to do it without fear.
Yes, to decode the signals gently. Because I imagine the meaning of that swelling changes depending on where you are in life, right? A puffy ankle at 50 is not the same as a puffy ankle at 80.
That is a very wise way to look at it. Context is everything. Our bodies speak a different language in each phase of our older years.
How so?
Well, if you are in your 50s or early 60s, that heavy fluid in the legs is often just a mirror of your daily habits. It is highly linked to what you eat or how long you sit at a desk.
So it is easily fixed at that stage.
Usually, yes. But as we move into our late 60s and 70s, life gets a bit more complex. The body is shifting. We might be taking new pills for blood pressure or dealing with stiff joints.
Which keeps us from walking as much.
Right. The swelling becomes a mix of habits and body changes. And by the time we reach our 80s and beyond, the goal shifts completely. We are no longer trying to fix every single flaw. We just want to preserve comfort, maintain dignity, and keep the daily routine pleasant and free of pain.
Wow. That framing takes so much of the panic away. It is not always an alarm bell.
No, not at all. Sometimes it is just a quiet request for comfort.
But to really respond to that request, I think we have to understand what is physically happening. I mean, when you press a finger into a swollen ankle, it feels so solid. But this is really a story about water, isn't it?
It is entirely about water. We are mostly water, and that water must constantly keep moving to keep us alive.
Like hidden rivers inside the body.
Beautifully said. The body has this complex system of tiny rivers. We have very fine tubes called capillaries that push fresh fluid out into our tissues to feed our cells.
And once the cells are fed, what happens to all that fluid?
Well, our veins and our lymph nodes act like a cleanup crew. They have to gather all that used fluid back up and pull it toward the heart.
And when we are young, it is a perfect even trade.
Yes. But when we sit in our favorite chair for 4 hours reading, or stand in a kitchen cooking a big holiday meal, we are fighting a massive force.
Gravity.
Gravity. It is constantly pulling all that fluid down to the lowest point it can find.
Which happens to be the feet.
Exactly. The veins in your legs are working incredibly hard to pull that fluid back up toward the chest, but gravity is pulling down.
It is a constant tug of war.
It really is. And if that delicate balance tips even a fraction, the fluid pools at the bottom of the hill, it just sits in the tissue of your ankles.
That explains why your favorite shoes slide on easily at dawn, but feel tight and pinch your toes as the sun goes down.
Just gravity doing its work.
I picture the veins in the calves like a sump pump in a basement, trying to push water straight up a very steep pipe.
Right.
It takes real effort.
That is a brilliant way to picture it.
But this brings up a thought that I know stops people from taking action. If gravity's always pulling down, and we all have to stand or sit during the day, isn't it just normal to have heavy legs by sunset?
You mean why worry about it at all?
Right. If it is just gravity and being tired, why shouldn't we just accept it and put our feet up?
That is the core question, isn't it? And you are right that most of the time it is just tired legs and a long day.
But not always.
No. The reason we should pay attention is because the body is not just a collection of separate parts. It is one deeply woven system.
A perfect web.
Yes. Sometimes that fluid pooling in the ankles has nothing to do with standing. It is actually a warning light from a completely different part of the body.
Oh, wow. So the feet are just the messenger.
Exactly. It is the body using the lowest point to tell you that a major system higher up is asking for help. It might be the heart, the kidneys, or the thyroid.
The warning lights on the dashboard. Okay, let's look at those lights, starting with the heart. Because if the veins are the pipes pushing the water up the hill, the heart is the main engine, right?
It is the grand engine for all those hidden rivers. And as we age, sometimes the right side of the heart begins to change its rhythm.
Just a slight change.
Yes, its pumping force gets just a little bit softer.
So it is not failing, just softening.
Right. But when that main pump slows down even a tiny bit, the blood cannot move forward as quickly as it needs to.
Oh, I see. So it backs up in the pipes.
It does. It backs up in the veins leading down to the legs. The pressure builds in those pipes, and the watery fluid gets pushed out into the soft tissue.
And that causes the swelling. What is the main clue for this?
The key clue here is that heart-related swelling almost always shows up in both feet evenly. And it builds slowly, feeling heavier and heavier as the day drags on.
Both feet. So if both feet feel like they are filled with wet sand by the evening, the main pump might be working a little too hard.
Exactly.
But what if it is the kidneys? Because if the heart is the pump, the kidneys are the filters.
Yes, blood rushes in, the kidneys pull the waste and extra salt out and send the clean water back.
So if those filters slow down with age, what happens?
Well, if the filters get tired, they start to leave things behind. Mainly, they hold on to sodium.
Oh, they keep the salt in the blood instead of washing it away.
Yes. And here is the strict rule of the body. Where salt goes, water must follow.
So the salt acts like a magnet.
It really does. It pulls extra water into your blood vessels until they are so full they leak fluid into your tissues.
But does gravity pull that fluid down to the ankles too?
Not always. That is the fascinating clue with the kidneys. Gravity does not always win right away. If your kidneys are holding on to salt and water, you might not see it in your feet first.
Where would you see it?
You might actually wake up with thick, puffy eyelids first thing in the morning.
Wait, really? The eyelids.
Yes, the thin, soft skin on the face.
That is entirely unexpected. I would
Yeah.
never have connected waking up with heavy, swollen eyes to holding water weight in the ankles by dinner.
It really shows how every single cell talks to each other.
It does. Now, you mentioned a third warning light, the thyroid. We talk about it all the time with younger folks. But what about after 60?
After 60, thyroid shifts are incredibly common and almost never noticed.
I know the thyroid controls the body's main energy burn. It sets the pace. But how does a slow energy burn lead to puffy feet?
Well, when the thyroid slows down, it changes the actual texture of the tissue under your skin. It creates a very different kind of puffiness.
Different now.
It is not the watery, loose fluid that pools at the end of the day from a tired heart or tired legs. It is a firmer, thicker type of swelling.
Firmer. Wait, this actually reminds me of a trick I learned a while ago for checking exactly this. It is called the pitting test, right?
Oh, yes. That is a wonderful, simple tool.
You take your thumb, right, and you press it gently into the puffy skin on the top of the foot or the ankle.
Yes. And you hold it there with a steady, quiet pressure for just a few seconds.
And when you pull your finger away, you look closely at the skin.
What are you looking for when you pull away?
You are looking to see if your finger left a deep dent behind, like pressing your thumb into soft bread dough.
Exactly.
If the dent stays there for a moment,
Yeah.
that tells you the swelling is loose, watery fluid that just got pushed aside. That is called pitting.
Right. But if it is a thyroid issue, because the swelling is firmer and thicker, no dent remains.
The skin just bounces right back like a firm rubber ball.
Yes. That single, simple check gives you so much quiet power over your own body. You are not waiting for a doctor to tell you how you feel. You are learning to read your own signs.
I love that. But we also have to admit that sometimes the body's warning light is not flashing because of a tired heart or a slow thyroid, right?
True. Sometimes the body's just reacting to the quiet choices we make every single day.
The daily triggers. The things we do without a second thought. And I know salt is the biggest one. You mentioned the kidneys holding on to salt, but what happens when we just eat too much of it?
We all know someone who goes out for a lovely family dinner, orders a nice bowl of soup, and wakes up feeling stiff and heavy.
Yes, the salt hangover.
A single restaurant meal is often loaded with hidden sodium. We do not taste it because chefs use it to preserve flavor.
So when all that extra salt hits your system,
Your body panics a little. It needs to dilute that salt so it does not harm your cells. So it holds on to every single drop of water it can find.
just to keep things safe.
Exactly. You can easily gain 2 full pounds of pure water weight overnight just from one salty dinner.
2 pounds of water just sitting in the tissues. Wow. And I would imagine the weather plays a role, too. I notice my own rings get tight in the middle of summer when the heat sets in.
The summer heat changes our pipes. To help the body cool down, our blood vessels naturally widen.
To let the heat out.
Yes, they expand to let heat escape through the skin. But when those pipes widen, the walls get stretched and tiny gaps open up. Extra fluid easily seeps out through those gaps and settles in the hands and feet.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The pipes widen, the pressure drops, and the water leaks out. Which brings me to a huge question about daily pills.
Oh, this is a very important point.
So many people in their 60s and 70s take a daily pill to lower their blood pressure. If those pills work by relaxing and widening the blood vessels to lower the pressure, do they cause that same kind of leaking?
You hit the nail on the head. That is exactly how many common blood pressure pills work. They relax the tight walls of your blood vessels.
Which is great for the heart.
It is wonderful for your heart, but those relaxed pipes let fluid slip into the ankles. The same thing happens with daily pills for stiff, painful joints.
Wait, joint pills cause swelling too.
Yes. We take them to calm the swelling in our knees, but they quietly tell the kidneys to hold on to salt. So you fix the knee pain, but 2 weeks later, your shoes do not fit.
That feels like a trap. You are trying to do the right thing for your health, and it creates a new problem. This actually leads to the biggest myth I see.
Real water myth.
Yes. If someone feels heavy, if their ankles are swollen and they feel full of fluid, their first instinct is to stop drinking water.
Oh, yes. I hear that all the time.
They think, well, my cup is overflowing, I should stop pouring water into it. But that is actually the worst thing you could do.
It is a very natural thought, but it is entirely backward. If you stop drinking water, your body senses a drought.
Like the well has run dry.
Exactly. So it shifts into survival mode and locks down all its reserves. It holds onto the fluid it already has with an iron grip.
Oh, wow. So you have to drink more water to convince the body it is safe to let the old water go.
That is exactly. When you give the body steady, quiet sips of fresh water all day long, it feels secure. It knows a fresh supply is always coming.
So it finally relaxes.
Yes, it relaxes and fleshes out the old salty fluid it was hoarding.
It has to feel safe to let go. That is such a human trait mirrored right there in our cells. This reminds me of the story we have in our notes about Robert.
Oh, yes, Robert. He is 71, right?
Yeah, and his story captures this cycle perfectly. He is a proud man. He loves walking his golden retriever every morning.
It is his favorite part of the day.
But his knees were getting so stiff he could barely make it down the block. So his care team gave him a new daily pill to ease the joint pain.
And it worked beautifully for his knees.
It did. But a month later, he started noticing those deep red sock lines at night. His feet felt like lead weights.
But because he is proud and because he did not want anyone to think he was losing his step, he just stayed quiet.
Right, he thought having swollen ankles was just the toll you pay for getting older.
He kept it to himself. But his daughter noticed. She saw how he rubbed his calves in the evening.
And instead of nagging him, she just asked him a quiet question about how his new shoes were fitting.
That opened the door. They looked at his routine and realized the puffiness lined up exactly with the new joint pills.
So he did not just endure it. He brought it up with his team. They made a tiny shift to his dose. He started resting his feet properly after his morning walk.
He swapped his evening pretzels for a bowl of fresh berries.
And the heavy fluid went away. He got to keep his daily walks with his dog, but he did not have to suffer the heavy legs. He learned that his body was not failing him. It was just reacting to a change.
That is the beautiful shift. Moving away from silent suffering and moving toward quiet adjustments. When we start looking at food and habits, the steps forward are actually very unhurried and simple.
Let's talk about those steps, starting with the food Robert swapped. How do we use our daily meals to gently push that extra fluid out. I know potassium is the secret weapon here.
Potassium is a miracle worker for water balance. Inside our bodies, potassium and sodium act like a pair of dancers, but they want opposite things.
Sodium pulls water in.
Yes. And potassium acts like a tiny bouncer at the door of your cells. When you eat enough potassium, it literally pushes the extra sodium out into the blood.
Where the kidneys can wash it away.
Exactly.
So we just need foods that bring that potassium into the body. What are the best, simplest choices?
Bananas are the most famous, of course. But also sweet potatoes, cooked spinach, fresh beets, and berries.
I hear watermelon is great too.
Watermelon is truly a gift in the summer because it gives you a huge flush of pure water and a high dose of potassium at the exact same time. It cools the body and pushes the salt out.
Real whole foods from the earth. But we also have to look at the foods that sneak the salt in. I imagine canned soups are the biggest offenders.
Canned soups, boxed broths, and sliced deli meats. They are heavily salted so they can sit on a store shelf for a year without spoiling.
That salt keeps the food safe, but it traps the water in your legs.
Exactly.
But you do not have to give up convenience entirely. I learned a brilliant trick for canned beans.
Oh, what is the trick?
If you are making a quick chili and you want to use canned black beans, you do not have to buy the expensive low-sodium ones. Just open the regular can, pour the beans into a mesh strainer in the sink, and rinse them under warm running water for 1 minute.
Oh, that is so easy.
Right. That single simple habit washes away almost half of the hidden salt.
That is exactly the kind of unhurried pivot we need. It is not about strict diets. It is just small shifts.
Yep.
Now, beyond the kitchen, there are 3 very quiet daily habits that change how the hidden rivers flow.
The first one has to be elevation. Using gravity to our advantage instead of fighting it.
Yes. Just 15 minutes a day. You find a quiet moment, maybe when reading the paper. You sit back and put your feet up on a firm pillow.
And the goal is to get them high up.
Just a little bit higher than your heart. You are creating a downward slope, giving your tired veins a break, and letting gravity pull the fluid back to the center of your body.
It sounds so peaceful, just taking a moment to rest with purpose.
Yeah.
What is the second habit?
It is movement, but not a heavy workout. It is about waking up the natural pump in your legs. We mentioned the veins pushing water up the pipe, right?
Yes, fighting gravity.
Well, the calf muscles are the hands that squeeze that pipe. When you flex your calf, it squeezes the vein and pushes the blood up.
So if you are sitting for a long time watching a movie,
Just point your toes forward, then pull them back toward your shins. Pump your ankles 10 times. It takes 30 seconds, and it flushes the fluid out of the feet.
just a quiet ankle pump during a commercial break. I love that. And the third habit is something that sounds more related to dieting, but it is actually about fluid. The morning scale check.
This is a vital tool. We do not use the scale to judge our bodies. We use it to measure water.
Right, it is not about fat.
Not at all. You see, a gallon of water weighs over 8 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
So if you step on the scale on a Tuesday, and by Thursday morning the scale says you are 3 pounds heavier, that is not fat. The body cannot build 3 pounds of solid tissue in 2 days. That is pure water.
So a sudden jump on the scale is a much louder, clearer signal than trying to guess if your ankles look puffy.
It takes the guesswork out entirely.
We have a story that shows how well these 3 simple habits work. The story is Sarah. She is 63, and her trigger was a massive family party.
Her daughter's wedding weekend, it was glorious, but it was a perfect storm for holding water.
It really was. She spent 3 days on her feet in stiff heels, crying happy tears, eating rich catered food, and drinking champagne.
By Monday morning, her ankles were hidden under a thick layer of fluid, and her favorite shoes would not even slide over her heel.
And most people in that spot would just feel defeated. They would think the weekend broke them.
Sarah felt that way at first, but then she listened to the body. She did not panic. For 10 straight days, she just went back to the basics.
She elevated her legs on the couch every evening while watching the news.
She ate simple salads and rinsed her beans. She drank steady glasses of water, and day by day, the puffiness melted away.
She did not need a doctor for it. She just needed to give her body a chance to catch up and clear the rivers.
She honored her body's request for rest, but I do think we have a duty to talk about the moments when resting is not enough, the red flags.
Yes, because being aware of your wellness means knowing exactly when a quiet sign has turned into an urgent shout. We never want to create fear, but true respect for our bodies means knowing when to call for outside help.
Safety is the foundation of all wellness. Most of the swelling we talk about is shared. It happens in both legs, evenly. But if you ever look down and see that only one leg or one foot has suddenly blown up with fluid, that is a moment to act.
Especially if that single swollen leg feels unusually warm to the touch, looks red, or has a deep throbbing ache.
Because a single leg swelling like that is often the sign of a blocked pipe, like a blood clot in the vein. The fluid is trapped behind a wall.
Right. And similarly, if your puffy ankles ever arrive on the same day as a sudden pressure in your chest, or a feeling that you cannot draw a deep, full breath, you do not wait to elevate your feet.
You do not wait to see if it clears up. You seek outside help right away. It is never about living in fear of your body. It is about honoring the life you have built by getting prompt, serious care when the dashboard lights turn red.
Honoring the life you have built. That is the exact reason we look into these quiet mysteries. As we wrap up this conversation, there is one final, truly fascinating thought that I keep turning over in my mind.
Oh, what is that?
We have spent all this time talking about the feet, the absolute lowest, furthest point of the body. But healthy rivers in the legs actually share a direct route with healthy rivers in the mind.
They absolutely do. It is the very same system.
When we take these unhurried steps to ease the heavy swelling in our calves, when we choose the fresh foods and pump our ankles, we're supporting the exact same network of vessels that carry oxygen up into our brain.
So,
Taking the pressure off the ankles might just be a beautiful, indirect way of clearing away the mental fog and keeping our memory sharp. By tending to our roots, we are feeding our minds.
that is a perfect thought to carry forward. Everything is connected. These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Wellness Geek Seniors has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same gentle way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life, and it helps Wellness Geek Seniors reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the join button right next to the Wellness Geek Seniors logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Wellness Support Circle. Your support helps honest health awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Wellness Geek Seniors moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.